This is the BMW factory in Munich, right at the company's original home base, not one of the satellite plants BMW built later for other models. Back in the late 1960s and early 1970s, this is where the 2002 was built, and this car mattered enormously to BMW's future, arguably more than any single model before it. The Munich plant covered around 400,000 square meters at the time, modest compared to giants like the Mercedes Sindelfingen site, but this was BMW's home ground, the place where the company had built motorcycles and aircraft engines decades earlier before shifting fully into cars. Around 4,000 people worked at the Munich plant during the peak years of 2002 production. Wages for a skilled BMW worker sat around 1,800 to 2,400 Deutsche Marks a month in the late 1960s, translating to roughly $500 to $650 at the time. That was solid pay for industrial work in Bavaria, though BMW itself was still climbing back from financial troubles earlier in the decade, and workers here knew the company's survival depended heavily on getting cars like the 2002 right. This wasn't a factory with unlimited resources. Every car built here needed to actually sell. Every 2002 started as flat steel sheets, fed into presses that stamped out the car's compact, boxy body panels. BMW wasn't trying to build something flashy or aerodynamic here. The 2002 grew out of the smaller 1600 sedan, essentially the same body fitted with a larger, more powerful engine, and the pressing process reflected that straightforward, no-nonsense approach. Panels came off the line at a steady pace, checked by workers for any warping or inconsistency before moving forward, since even small imperfections could throw off how doors and panels fit together later in the process. From the press shop, panels moved into welding, where a small, focused team joined the body together. A 2002 body needed several thousand welds, and workers paid particular attention to the front strut towers and the floor pan, areas that needed real structural rigidity given how BMW intended this car to be driven. Unlike a comfortable family sedan built mainly for smooth highway cruising, the 2002 was designed from the outset with sharp handling in mind, and that meant the body needed to resist twisting and flexing far more than a typical economy car of the same size. Welders here worked with that performance goal in mind, even on what was, on paper, a relatively affordable, compact car. Rust protection followed a fairly standard process for the era, with bodies dipped into anti-corrosion fluid before moving toward the paint shop. BMW's rust protection at this point in its history wasn't quite as thorough as what Mercedes was doing at its larger, more resourced plants. And many surviving 2002s from this era have needed rust repair over the decades, particularly around the rear wheel arches and the floor pan near the rear seats. Common trouble spots that BMW would improve on significantly in later models. The paint shop offered a colour range that leaned toward bright, energetic choices that matched the car's youthful, sporty image. Colours like Golf Yellow, Inca Orange and Chamonix White became closely associated with the 2002 specifically, chosen deliberately to appeal to younger buyers who saw this car as something different from the more conservative, formal colours typical of larger luxury sedans. Painting was done by hand, with workers applying colour in careful passes before the body moved into a drying oven, followed by inspection under bright lights for any dust specks or uneven patches. Meanwhile, engines came together in a dedicated engine assembly area within the Munich plant. The 2002 used BMW's four-cylinder engine, a relatively simple design that nonetheless became legendary for how well it responded to tuning and modification. Workers building these engines followed careful assembly procedures, fitting pistons, crankshafts and cylinder heads with attention that matched what larger, more expensive manufacturers were doing. Despite the 2002 sitting at a much lower price point than something like a Mercedes or even a BMW's own larger sedans. Every engine ran on a test bench, checked for smooth idle and consistent power delivery across the rev range before being cleared for the assembly line. Once the painted body had cooled and the engine had passed its bench test, the two came together during the step workers called the marriage, when the body was lowered onto the completed chassis and drivetrain. This process moved at a fairly brisk pace compared to luxury car assembly happening elsewhere, since BMW needed to keep production costs down to hit the price point this car was aimed at. A small team guided the body down, checking connections quickly but carefully since BMW's growing reputation for driving quality depended on getting even this more affordable model exactly right. Interior work reflected the 2002's position as an affordable, sporty option rather than a luxury car. Seats were simple but supportive, designed with a slightly sportier bolster shape than what you'd find in a typical family sedan, giving drivers better support during spirited cornering. The dashboard featured straightforward round gauges, easy to read at a glance, without the wood veneer or elaborate trim found in BMW's larger models. Workers installed these interiors quickly, since the whole philosophy behind the 2002 involved keeping things simple and focused on the driving experience rather than luxury comfort features. Quality checks at the end of the line included the standard water leak test and an engine run-up on a dyno, but BMW also paid particular attention to how the car handled during a short test drive on roads surrounding the Munich factory. Given how central handling and driving feel were to the 2002's entire appeal, inspectors drove each car through a set of turns and quick maneuvers, checking steering response and body control rather than just confirming the engine ran smoothly and nothing leaked. Pricing made the 2002 accessible in a way BMW's larger models weren't. A new 2002 in the late 1960s cost around 9,000 to 10,000 Deutsche Marks in Germany, translating to roughly $2,500 to $2,800 in the US. A price that put real sports sedan performance within reach of younger buyers and professionals who couldn't afford BMW's bigger, more expensive models. A Munich factory worker earning around 2,000 Deutsche Marks a month could save up and afford a 2002 in under 5 months of full salary, a much more attainable target than the multi-year savings needed for a Mercedes or a Porsche. It's worth exploring why the 2002 mattered so much to BMW's history, because this car essentially built the foundation for everything the company became known for afterward. Before the 2002, BMW wasn't widely seen internationally as a performance-focused brand. This compact, affordable sedan with genuinely sharp handling and a lively engine introduced American and international buyers to the idea that a BMW meant something specific, a car built for driving enjoyment, not just transportation or luxury status. Car magazines at the time praised the 2002 for delivering genuine sports car feel in a practical, everyday sedan body. And that reputation directly paved the way for later models like the 3 Series, including the E30 that came after it. There's also something to be said about how approachable the 2002 was for home mechanics. The engine bay offered plenty of room to work, and the mechanical systems were straightforward enough that enthusiasts could handle their own maintenance and even basic performance modifications without needing specialized tools or dealership equipment. This accessibility helped build a passionate owner community that has kept many 2002s alive and well-maintained for decades after production ended, with local clubs organizing regular meetups where owners traded tips on everything from carburetor tuning to sourcing hard-to-find trim pieces. Shifts at Munich ran on a fairly standard schedule for German industry at the time, though the pace stayed brisk given how important the 2002's commercial success was to BMW's broader financial recovery during this period. Workers understood that the company's future depended partly on this car selling well, and there was a sense of shared investment in getting it right that went beyond simply collecting a paycheck. Women worked at the Munich plant primarily in wiring, upholstery, and inspection roles during this era, similar to patterns seen at other German auto manufacturers, while the heavier stamping and welding work remained staffed almost entirely by men, reflecting broader industry norms of the period rather than any specific policy at BMW. A handful of women did work as quality inspectors on the final test drives, a role that required a sharp ear for engine noise and a good feel for handling, skills that had nothing to do with physical strength and everything to do with attention and experience. Financial pressure hung over the entire Munich operation during much of the 2002's early production run. BMW had come dangerously close to being bought out by Mercedes just a few years earlier, and the company's survival as an independent brand depended heavily on models like the 2002 finding real commercial success rather than just critical praise from car magazines. This gave the whole factory a slightly different atmosphere compared to a place like Mercedes' Sindelfingen plant, where decades of established success created a calmer, more settled culture. At BMW, there was a genuine sense that the company needed this car to work, and that pressure translated into workers paying extra attention to getting details right, since everyone understood that BMW's future as an independent manufacturer wasn't guaranteed. Component sharing with BMW's motorcycle division, still an important part of the company at the time, occasionally influenced small details on the 2002's assembly line. Some switchgear and electrical components drew on parts and suppliers BMW already had relationships with through its motorcycle business, a practical cost-saving measure that also reflected the company's broader identity at the time as a manufacturer that hadn't yet fully separated its car and motorcycle engineering cultures the way it eventually would in later decades. Racing success played an enormous role in building the 2002's reputation, much like it did for other performance-oriented models of the era. The 2002 competed successfully in touring car racing across Europe, and the lessons learned on track, particularly around suspension tuning and weight distribution, fed directly back into improvements for the road-going version. The later 2002 Turbo, one of Europe's first turbocharged production cars, grew directly out of this racing program, built in smaller numbers with serious performance upgrades that pushed the basic 2002 formula to genuinely thrilling extremes for the time. Export sales became a bigger part of the 2002 story than BMW initially expected. The United States turned into one of the model's most important markets, particularly after a well-known American car magazine writer publicly praised the 2002 as offering genuine sports car handling at a fraction of the cost of something like a Porsche. Dealers in the US reported customers cross-shopping the 2002 against sports cars costing twice as much, a comparison that would have seemed unthinkable for BMW just a few years earlier, when the company was still primarily known in Europe and barely registered as a brand in American showrooms. Suspension tuning received an unusual amount of attention on the assembly line for a car at this price point. Workers responsible for fitting the front struts and rear suspension components followed torque specifications and alignment procedures more commonly associated with dedicated sports cars rather than affordable family sedans. BMW's engineers had determined early on that the 2002's entire reputation would live or die based on how it handled, and that philosophy carried all the way down to individual assembly line workers who understood that a slightly loose suspension bolt here could translate into noticeably worse handling feel for the eventual owner, something enthusiast buyers would absolutely notice and complain about. The 4-speed manual transmission fitted to most 2002s became something of an unofficial trademark for the model, and workers on the drivetrain assembly line took particular care matching gear ratios and clutch components to the engine's specific power characteristics. A 5-speed option arrived later in production for buyers who wanted more relaxed highway cruising, but the original 4-speed setup remained popular among enthusiasts who valued the shorter, more engaging gearing over outright cruising comfort. So what does a 2002 cost today? Prices have climbed steadily as more enthusiasts rediscover this car's importance to BMW's history. A rough example needing mechanical and cosmetic work can still be found for $6,000 to $12,000. A clean, well-maintained example with a solid body and running engine typically sells for $15,000 to $30,000. Rare variants, particularly the 2002 Turbo or well-documented cars with genuine racing history, can reach $50,000 or more, especially as collectors increasingly recognize this model's foundational role in BMW's performance identity. If you're looking for one, Germany remains an excellent source, along with strong enthusiast communities in California and other parts of the American West, where dry climates have preserved many examples from serious rust damage. Specialist BMW clubs and forums often have well-documented cars available from owners who understand exactly what they're selling, sometimes at better prices than general classic car marketplaces, where sellers may not fully appreciate what they have. Whatever you end up paying, you're buying a piece of BMW's history that shaped everything the brand became known for in the decades that followed. Would you rather drive an original 2002 with all its rough edges, or a modern BMW with none of the character? Let us know what you think in the comments.